As we speak right now, a lot of Muslim men are struggling. They are going through it. They're feeling it. And the hardest part is they're struggling in silence. There's nobody that can relate to them. They feel like the world is just, with everything going on, with the media, with all this stuff going on, sometimes you feel like you're in a little bit of a bubble where things just seem doom and gloom. But the reality is, that's not always the case. It's not all doom and gloom. And this is what this video is going to cover. So, how do I know about this? Because I felt it too. I felt alone, stuck, overlooked, or underestimated, right? When you are in your hometown, I'm assuming a lot of you watching this are probably in your hometown. Maybe you're outside of your hometown. Maybe you're married. Maybe you're not married. But the people around you aren't very similar to you, right? When you grow up in your society, in your masjid, grow up with all these different people, you get along because you grew up with them. But as time goes on, you have different aspirations, you have different career points, right? Your careers change, right? So when you meet up, you're kind of just catching up on life, how things are going. But you don't you want people that you can relate with, that you can talk about certain things. And that's where Muslim men are feeling very, very lonely because they don't have that avenue to talk to Muslim men, other Muslim brothers about these things. Sometimes, like, there's a lot of non-Muslims that are like, I have a lot of friends that are non-Muslim, and some of them, especially when it comes to business, I open up to them. I'm very, very transparent with them. And some of them, they're very like, it's like they're Muslim already because they know so much about Islam. Like, just being around me, they know so much about Islam that I'm like, man, they'll probably become Muslim eventually. It's really interesting. But it's like one of those things where it's like we need Muslim brothers that are like that kind of in that space that we can talk to, right? And I felt that way. My story is I started this coaching journey 1 year ago, right? The year before that, I was posting content on my personal Instagram page, and I would have people like just saying, "Oh, you're posting stuff." People around me will always say, "Oh, you're posting stuff," because when you're doing something that's a little different to everyone else, then you kind of start to stand out, and you don't intentionally do it, but it's because you're going through a different path. So I had people ask me, "Oh, why are you making videos?" I'd have had people laughing at me, saying that it's funny. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Oh, your videos are not that great. People would always tell me that, or be like, your video, you should make videos like this person or like that person. So everyone has feedback, right? Because they see you as who you are, and the reality is you're not, like, you're a different person. You're becoming a different person, right? So sometimes it's hard for them to see you as that different person. So I was struggling. I was trying to figure it out. I was on and off. And then one thing I did was I just created a whole new Instagram page. I was like, you know what? Let me create a whole new page. And whoever wants to follow me can follow me. So I created this new page called Fit for Mental. I was just focused on fitness and just doing that. And then as time went on, the page has been growing. It's starting to slowly grow. But it's not only that. It's I've connected with so many other people from different parts of the world. I've been a community manager for 5 years for different influencers online, and I've been able to meet people in London. I've been able to meet people in LA. I stayed at a person's place in London. Like, I had a friend who lives in London. He let me stay at his place, right? And just because we have like some commonalities, we have some similar goals. We met through like an online community. So this is what's really missing for a lot of Muslim men, right? You may have goals, you may have aspirations, but you're probably very uninspired by the people that are around you. People may look at you, they're like, oh, it's this guy, right? Or they may look at you and they think, oh, this person has big goals. But the reality, and you might even ask yourself, oh, why are people not like striving for more? Why are people not trying to achieve more? And as you go through your journey, you're going to start to realize that not everyone wants to achieve big things. Like, not everyone wants to go hard. Not everyone wants to do a lot more. Or sometimes if you're feeling lonely, not everyone can relate with what you're going through. That's a big one too. Not everyone has internal struggles that they're really trying to address. And not everyone like has the healthy marriages there's a lot of people, Muslim brothers, that they don't like when they go through a marriage journey, they don't know what they're doing, but they're not taking the time to learn what the proper structure or what the proper way of doing it is, right? So you need to be around those people. And the reality is most of us don't have real brotherhood anymore, right? We're in environments that don't match our goals, right? And that's why a lot of people move to big cities. Some people move to this place. Some people move to that place. And the reality is sometimes you can't just move to a different city. Not everyone can do this, right? Not everyone's just gonna move. Like you may be in school, you may be working, you may be married, right? You can't. Not everyone's able to just up and go to a new city, right? So that's a huge thing as well, right? We don't have mentors or people we can relate to. Now, there's an entrepreneur. You guys probably know him, Alex Hormozy, right? He's probably one of the biggest entrepreneurs out there right now. And before it was Gary Vee, right? It's like, and then Mark Cuban was huge at some point, and obviously it changes. But the reality is, why don't we have more Muslims that we like that, right? Where we have more Muslims that we can look up to. Obviously, we have the Sahaba, we have the prophets that we can look up to, and sometimes it's hard to visualize it simply because they're not alive, of course. So a lot of people they tend to like think, oh, these are the past, right? They're human beings too, but sometimes we look at them as like mystical, like, oh, like they were different, right? But they were human beings as well. So sometimes it's hard for us to see because they're not physically there. So that's why a lot of people look up to current entrepreneurs, right? Even if you look at old entrepreneurs, like a lot of people will follow what they're saying, right? But a lot of people will, like, for example, Dan Kennedy, right? Dan Kennedy, he's a big on copywriting. He's a legend. He's been on it. It's a very select group that are going to be really on him. People that are really interested. So people that are really, really interested in Islam, they're going to be the ones that are going to be really tied into the prophets. They're going to be really tied into Sahaba. They're going to look deeper into it. But a lot of people in this day and age of instant gratification, we want everything now. So it's important to have more Muslims that are in shape, more Muslims that are great entrepreneurs, more Muslims that are tied into their deen, that are teaching other people aspects of the deen, more Muslims that are promoting healthy marriages. So this is something that's huge. We need mentors that we can relate to. And a lot of us don't have that, right? We have these online people that we see, but a lot of them aren't even Muslim, right? Even when I was navigating through my marriage journey, you know what's interesting? It was all dating coaches. It was all non-Muslim dating coaches. And the one thing that I did learn about all these different coaches is the fact that men and women are different in terms of dynamic. Now, how they went about it, the structure, the going on dates, this and that, that's part is a lot of it's not Islamic. A lot of it leads to haram relationships, which is something I can talk about another day. But that's what I'm trying to say. Why don't we have Muslim? Maybe that's me. Maybe that's my role. Maybe I'm the one who's supposed to teach people how to navigate. There's some people I've seen online that are kind of also talking about it. But we need more people that can guide, like can help guide Muslims, right, just to the right direction, especially in this current society, right? Muslims that grew up in this society, that understand what's going on, that can say, hey, okay, I know what you're going through, I can guide you. So this is one thing that we're definitely missing, right? And this is why a lot of us feel isolated, right? We go on social media, we see all these different people, all these people doing this. We're like, everyone seems like they're successful, everyone's in shape, everyone has 100,000 followers, everyone's traveling, and here we are, we're working our job, and we're like, why am I not doing this, right? Oh, I want to start my own business. Everyone says they want to start a business. Everyone's like, I want to start a business. I always hear people say I want to start a business, right? But the reality is nobody, like, they don't understand what it takes to build a business. Building a business isn't just like you have an idea, boom, you wake up in the morning, oh, okay, let me start this business, and then all of a sudden you make money instantly. No, it's going to take almost everything out of you, right? And I'm saying this as someone who is currently building a business, who's been doing this for a while. So this is why, like I said, your environment is so important, right? Your circle is literally everything. Who you're around determines who you become, right? So if you are on TikTok, and this is why for me, I just don't like being on TikTok, right? I only go on TikTok when I'm uploading, because every time I go on TikTok, it's, for me, this is my algorithm. It's always African politicians, money will come, right? That guy, right? It'll be like there's always music, people dancing, right? I feel like TikTok for me is like probably the most like brain dead platform out there. I Instagram is a little bit different. I feel like the algorithm understands like a little bit more, like you can navigate through a little bit better. But with TikTok, it's a for you type of platform. So you're actively looking for dopamine. You're actively looking for it. So when you look at all these different things, you're gonna start to like every time I notice every time I'm on TikTok, when I'm on TikTok, I tend to like I tend to it's just like I feel like my iman goes down, right? Even Instagram, you have to be careful with how you use Instagram. There's ways to, and I've talked about this before. There's ways to reset your algorithm. So that's something that I've talked about on Instagram. But you have to be careful with what you're consuming, because if you're consuming brain dead, like okay, I love sports, right? I love sports. I love watching sports. But if I start listening to sports all day long, my mind is only going to be thinking about sports. I'm going to be thinking, oh, this person's like this. Oh, this transfer is going on. That transfer is going on. That's why even if there's a game, unless it's like maybe like a final or it's like, for example, like something that's super big, I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to watch that game, right? Unless sometimes the local team will play, I'll go to a game. Like those are like things that okay, I'll actively okay, you know what, cool. It's like cool, right? It's an experience. But there's some people out there who will literally spend their life and they'll sit down and they will be like, oh, the game's on. I got to watch the game, especially for football, right? American football. A lot of people are like that. And that's what I mean. Who you're around is really important. That's why, and this is something that I can do better. Is important. It's good to be around the masjid, right? It's good to be. I know there's one influencer online. He talks about going to the masjid for fajr, right? Who you're around is very important, right? If you when you wake up in the morning, what are you listening to, right? Are you on TikTok scrolling, or are you listening to some Quran, right? For me, what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to listen to a lot more Quran during my day, just random times. And I usually listen to Ali Jabir. And usually I'll just listen to it before I go to sleep. I'll listen to some Quran. When I wake up, listen to some Quran. I'll listen to like how to sell. I'll listen to like different things. So this is like the first step to just getting to that direction. But this addresses the problem again. Like this doesn't address that issue that we're talking about, where you're still feeling lonely, right? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "A person is upon the religion of his close friends." Right? That means your environment shapes you. And a lot of us, we have a circle, we have people that are around, but maybe they don't have the same aspirations as us. Maybe their deen is not. Maybe they're not Muslim, right? It's a big one, right? And if you're around the wrong people, you stay stagnant. And if you're around the right people, you grow. When I started this business, I was trying to encourage my friends to move up. Like, yeah, let's elevate together. And alhamdulillah, like I have a few friends that are really on it. They're really on top of it. They're very like big on elevating. They're really on top of it. But I would say the vast majority, they're just it's weird. It's like they're just watching. They're like encouraging. Some people are just there's poker watchers who are just watching you do what you're doing, and they're just like they're just watching. But there's a lot of people that they will encourage, they'll be like, oh, this is cool, this is awesome. But they themselves are not improving in terms of their own life, right? They're still out of shape, right? They still have a lot of habits, like habits that they're bad habits that they're actively showing other people, like vaping and stuff like that, right? Or they're not praying, right? So these are some huge things. And when you're around that, you may think that, oh, I'm around that, it's fine. But when you at some point it starts to rub off on you a little bit. Even if you're not fully following that, it still rubs off on you, right? If you're with someone that doesn't pray, for example, right? In your mind, you're going to be thinking of, oh, okay, I need to find a place to pray. But you're going to be like, oh, but this person doesn't understand. So I'm just going to go pray and then this and that, right? And, so it's a real thing, right? And but if you have someone who you can pray with, you can pray with, then you can just be like, hey, okay, let's go pray somewhere, or you'll pray at that same spot, because two people are stronger than one, right? Two people make it's just not it's not rocket science, right? So if you're around the wrong people, you stay stagnant. If you're around the right people, you grow. And that's why when I joined these coaching programs, it's funny. I joined a business coaching program. The biggest asset wasn't even wasn't even the fact that the course or whatever it was. It was the community. The community was the biggest part that was super beneficial. It was the community. So I met a lot of fitness coaches that were also on the same realm, and I was like, some of them I talk to like very often, like non-Muslims, right? And I'm just sometimes we'll talk about business, we'll talk about growing, we'll talk about elevating. I'll give them advice, they'll give me advice, they'll encourage me, I'll encourage them, I'll push them, they'll push me, right? So it's important to be around those people, and there's different aspects of your life that you're going to have different circles, right? You can't expect your old friends to be similar to you in all aspects of your life, right? You're going to find friends that are in shape And you're going to be around those people when it comes to being in shape. Maybe you just see them at the gym. There's some people that you'll only see at the gym. There's this running joke. You'll see someone at the gym, you won't know their name, but it's this one guy. He's very in shape. Every time I see him, I always see him like on the streets and stuff like that, right? Like we don't hang out or anything like that. But when I talk to him, we always talk about fitness, right? Oh, what are you doing? Muay Thai. Oh, he'll like catch me on a run. I'll catch him at the gym. He'll be like, yeah, I see your jump roping. Like it's one of those things where it's like you build that connection based on that topic, right? So this is something super important. Imagine having a group of Muslim brothers that you can grow with, that you can really, really like talk to about these things, about growth, about just going through these internal struggles and really sharing this stuff with. And you can tell I'm passionate about this because I've been a community manager for years. And this is the one thing that I've noticed a lot of influencers are kind of sleeping on, right? They focus on content, they focus on building their programs, they focus on this, but they don't focus on the actual community itself. The community is more valuable the community is more valuable than the whole program or whatever, this and that, right? That is more valuable than all this other stuff. And that's why, inshallah, I built this new community. And it's for now, it's called Peak Muslim Brotherhood. It's basically going to be a group of Muslim brothers who actually want to grow together spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, right? A space where you can talk openly, get accountability, and be around men who want to see you win, right? The more time you spend in this environment, the better you will become. Okay, inshallah. So we're gonna have, inshallah, I do have like my one-on-one coaching, which is something that I haven't talked about here, but inshallah, if you want to know details, I'll leave the link down below. But basically, we'll have different calls, we'll have resources, we'll have a circle of brothers on the same path, right? It's gonna be paid, right? Because obviously when you pay for something, you value it more. That's just normal, right? But I also do have a scholarship option for anyone who can't afford it. That's something I'm 100% like, I understand that not everyone can afford something, right? It's normal, fi sabilillah. I've been in that situation, and there's a lot of coaching memberships that I would love to join, but I just can't afford it, which is a normal thing, right? Or you can wait and you can work up to it, and then if you can afford it later, then that's what I would probably ideally do, because I know that there's probably gonna be some people who are gonna apply. They may have the money, but they don't want to pay. And I'm going to look at the applications. If that's the case, like I'll be able to tell, like if you're actually like not able to pay, and then I'll be, okay, this person's actually serious. If you're able to pay and I'll know. I put some trick questions in there, so you're going to notice that. And the price will go up over time, right? It's going to keep going up. That's the name of the game. As the value goes up, the price goes up. So the earlier you are, the sooner the better price will be, and also you'll get a more intimate experience with the community if you join at the start. So if you've been feeling alone or stuck, this is your chance to change your environment. Just check the link below, fill out the application form, and join us. Let's build together, inshallah. Let's help each other win, both in dunya and akhirah. If you have any questions, I also have my Instagram down below. Just let me know that you came from the YouTube video, then I can definitely fill you in on some information if you have any questions, or if you want to just hop on a one-on-one call with me. I'll also leave that in the link down below. But this is something that's really missing for Muslim men. I think this is the one thing that if we can tackle, inshallah, the ummah will start to thrive and we will move forward as an ummah. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.